Hey folks, welcome back to Game Garbage Room. Take a look at games, chat about the game news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. This will be kind of a short one on just PlayStation State of Play. I've had some time to think about it. I've watched some videos, and man, there are definitely some good points, and there's some personal frustrations of mine too. And I'll just start with God of War. The biggest thing is that God of War is about Kratos, and we don't have a game about Kratos. We have a spinoff, and how they started it all was with Kratos and Atreus, which was great. It was like, okay, what's going on now? And we totally go into something else with Laufey. And the thing that's frustrating is that it's not God of War, right? It's not God of War. It's not the fact that she's a woman. It's the fact that they've built an IP off of Kratos, this character, who happens to be a man. If we had Tomb Raider that was a spin-off of some other dude, it would be the same problem. When we have a Tomb Raider game, the expectations are that it's Lara Croft. When we have a God of War game, the expectations are that it's Kratos. And they know that. And so they set up the entire, quote, 27 or 25-minute gameplay trailer to just basically show God of War for the first couple of minutes. They showed Kratos for the first couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes, right? And if Kratos is really old and getting boring or something, well, then we can have him die and he can be in the afterlife because he is a god. He is the God of War. Why didn't we do that? It could be much more brutal, a lot more cinematic, a lot more engaging. And then, too, something else I got to say is roughly 2/3 of the player base on PlayStation 5 are men. We have so many games where the protagonist is a woman. Ghost of Tsushima to Ghost of Yote. You know, we've transitioned that to a woman too. And what's interesting with a lot of these games is that they're made somewhere between 2016 and 2022. That's kind of when they're started. And during that time period, protagonists have to be women. And this isn't just like a Sony problem. This is pretty much every other publisher too. And the thing that's frustrating is that if this, gender is such an issue, why can't we just have a character creator? You can make you. That used to be really common in the 2000s and even some of the 2010s. You could pick who you were. You could gussy yourself if you could have scars and tattoos. And you could do all of that. You could literally build you in the video game. And we just don't have those anymore. The other thing I got to say about the state of play is that we had Wolverine, which we already knew, and then God of War at the end. And that was kind of it. There were some good games, but again, they're not PlayStation because pretty much a lot of those others is that they're either paid for exclusivity or, which they're probably timed, most of them, or they're also coming to like Nintendo or Xbox or PC, but again, they're not really showing that. And PlayStation should. I think Xbox should do the same thing going forward after this next showcase. The logos of where you can buy it is to basically meet players where they are and to show where the game is possible to buy. Instead of being petty and saying, nah, we're cool, we're awesome, you guys got to go look it up yourselves to see if it's on your platform. That is such a dick move. Why do that? If you're wanting more potential players, if you're wanting more revenue and money, well, then you wouldn't be doing that. You would be focusing on actually having people have the information to literally, right after it's played, to literally go pre-order the game on their platform. But when they have to stop and look it up, well, they already kind of start to lose interest a little bit. Maybe a lot, depending on who the person is. So having the logos of where you can buy it, where you can play, I think is important. The other thing, while I think Wolverine was pretty good, while Laufey actually graphically looked great, it's the same type of PlayStation game. Where's the Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank? Where's things like Shadow of the Colossus? They can make a new one, honestly. Where's any of the co-op games? I mean, are there none? Well, and then we had a little thing about Marathon, which I don't think most people really want to see right now. It is a free-to-play week, and I have been playing some of it, and I will be talking about it probably at the end of the week. But it's just it's the same stuff over and over again. And if their IPs don't adhere to what their audience expects, and they're basically paying to either use IPs like Marvel Wolverine, or if they're paying for exclusivity like Silent Hill Townfall, PlayStation doesn't have games. When we actually take a look at what PlayStation has, 25 games, but they just canceled Destruction All Stars. So that's gone. But like Laufey is in here now. But holy smokes. Oh yeah, I guess there was Until Dawn 2 as well. I actually completely forgot about that. But good grief. 25 games through 2027? That's what your exclusive pool is? Guys, they're not exclusive. They buy exclusive, whether it's timed or whether it's actually permanent, like Townfall might be. But for Pete's sakes, the fact that you can still get these games on some other platform is not exclusive. That's my opinion. And you're welcome to disagree with it in the comments. It's okay. We can have discussions. We can disagree on stuff. But then there's some other games where I see like Code Violet, not good. Astral Playroom, well, that's just a playroom. Paper Beast, anybody enjoy that one? What about Quantum Error? That's an old game. I mean, Sorrow, Silent Hill, Short Message, The Wind's Rising, Intergalactic, Trilogy Remake, that's cool. That's nice. Yote was pretty good, but again, it's not going to make numbers like Tsushima was. They already had an established story, the Mongolian invasion. They could have kept running with that. Frick, they even could have used Yote to fight the second invasion. Why not? They've already established the story. It's literally right there in front of them. They can still have a masculine feeling game or fighting for your homeland, fighting for your country or for your home, but no, we don't do that. So this, and then, yeah, Demon Souls. I feel bad for Bluepoint because they just got screwed every chance they could get. And while it was them pitching the God of War Online game, live service game, well, that's all that was being accepted by Sony at the time. But like, where's Gravity Rush? Where's some of these other games? What about Jack and Dexter? What about remaster all of the old games in a series? That would be awesome. What about Great Monkey Escape or Monkey Escape, Monkey Balls, something like that? I forget exactly what it's called. There's Papa Rappa, and again, there's certain audience for these, and so you need the appropriate budgets. But what we're focusing on is like Destiny 2 is done, and which had a bigger player base, which definitely has a bigger player base now, and then we're focusing on Marathon instead. And the other reason Marathon looks good is because of the weekend, the free-to-play week. Let's take a look. So when we take a look at Marathon, we have these really sharp spikes, which means probably a few people within a certain time zone area of the world started playing. They played for a few hours and then they got off. And then, well, they did it again. Again, just, basically a couple of hours, and then it fell off pretty quick. Well, now we're actually on a Wednesday, and there's kind of a steady flow. I think more people are figuring out about it, but the numbers are higher than I anticipated, actually. I'll take the L on that. The numbers are actually getting higher than I thought, but can they still get above 40,000? And then when the free-to-play week is over, which you'll be able to save all of your progress if you wish, and the game is also on sale. Marathon has chronically been on sale since April. First it was 10%, then it was 20%. Now we're at 30% off. Take a look at this. Take a look at price history. Well, it was 20% off. I think 10 was maybe just on Xbox. That's what I remember. It was like 10%. But yeah, we had basically 2 weeks where it was $32. Now we have the free-to-play weekend starting right now, and this again is for 9 days, 9 or 10 days. But right now it's 30% off across the board. That's not a successful game. It's not a succeeding game. Take a look at Destiny. Well, a lot of their player counts actually came back, which is kind of insane. You can see the peaks here. And whoop, as soon as we heard that it was dying, a lot of players came back. And that's kind of nuts. And then it even got even bigger. We're almost hitting 30,000. Almost, 25, 30,000 almost every single day. And this is a game that they know is dying. This is a game is supposedly trying to be pushed to succeed and has a free-to-play week. I think Destiny 2 is also going to be free-to-play. It already is free-to-play, but like a lot of it is going to become free-to-play. Basically everything that you kind of paid for is going to be available that wasn't sunsetted. But yeah, this is just the sad state of Sony. I think this kind of just wraps it up. They make the decisions. People are frustrated. They don't want to listen to them. They want to double and triple down on stuff. And again, this is not about you hating the game. This is not about me liking it or whatever, okay? This is about what the masses are deciding, and Sony is not listening to the masses. And when they're pushing exclusivity, basically this is all they have for exclusivity, which is not a lot. Guys, we're maybe going to get to 50 truly exclusive titles by the end of the generation. Probably not even that. We might not even get to 40, which is kind of insane because we have maybe 2-3 more years until the next gen consoles. But people are figuring out that really the best place to play is just on Steam, on PC. That exclusives aren't really what they're cracked up to be. And if you're interested in a video that I did about just talking about exclusivity, I'll leave that here at the end. But the state of play, like, it was pretty good for what PlayStation has done. I kind of rated it like a B plus, A minus for the state of play because PlayStation's state of play since 22, 23, and 24, and even some of 25 have been really bad, honestly. But it's just more of the same. Third-person party game, or third-person IP that is not theirs, or third-person over-the-shoulder, or again, taking away the main protagonist and swapping it out with someone else as a spinoff. And again, spinoffs are okay, but it shouldn't be your main game. They never used to be your main game. And imagine if, like, Mario was swapped out for somebody else. And in a way, he kind of was, but he's still like a main part of the story at Nintendo. But imagine just Mario is completely removed from the next game. And Luigi. Who's going to care? It's going to be like Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And there's no Link being the hero, that we've established for 40 years. Excuse me. And so, yeah, that was one of the worst selling Zelda games ever. Most of you probably don't even remember Echoes of Wisdom, and there's a reason for that. It did not adhere to the audience. So I can understand people's frustration, and I'm frustrated too. And again, I'm not frustrated just at Sony, but if players can't ultimately be heard, if the masses can't decide, or if they're not going to be listened to, guys, they're just going to go somewhere else, and that's going to lead to more closures, more layoffs, more canceled games. And I mean, we're just going to keep going until it just completely falls apart or the company dies. Like, if you're interested too with Ubisoft, I have an entire video right here where they lost $1.3 billion in 6 months. That is detrimental. So with that, folks, I'll see you guys on the next one.